Beautiful. So 18.61, I think I'm already sharing my screen. Beautiful. So we'll start with the prayers. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining in. So today we are reading 18.61. We have the phone.
Yeah,
Prabhu.
we have
Wonderful.
this.
Wonderful. So this is the last chapter, which is also the summary of Bhagavad Gita. Like we discussed last week, the whole 18 chapter have been passed. Arjuna started asking the question, why should I fight? I don't want to kill my relatives. I don't want to have this fight. And Krishna had to speak the whole Bhagavad Gita to remove the darkness. What does the darkness mean in our perspective is avidya or ignorance. So, a lot of times in our life, we are filled with so much of clutter. We have so much of unclarity. What should I do? What decision should I take? Where should I move? So many things we have to be mindful about before we make any decision. Thank you, Amita Mataji, for joining. So, Bhagavad Gita provides us clarity. Bhagavad Gita provides us clarity. I was just contemplating on this beautiful story which I heard once, that there was this person who was working in a slaughterhouse. This is a story in Russia. So for those of us who have never seen the slaughterhouse, even I haven't seen, but when I heard this graphical interpretation, I was just shocked. So his whole top and bottom, whatever he was wearing, was tainted with blood. So he came near the trash can, and he was throwing something in the trash can, and he realized there was a book there. He took that book, and this was an English Bhagavad Gita. So this person was surprised. He said, how come he doesn't know about Bhagavad Gita because he is just a Russian guy. He has no idea about it, but he knew English. So he took that book, took home, and started reading that. And he had so much of transformation of the heart. At the back of the book, there was a number given, or there was the address given. So he figured out where the temple is. And this person who was working in a slaughterhouse, he left that job and became a saintly person, and he ended up becoming one of the temple president. So that is the power of transformation of Bhagavad Gita. When our life is so cluttered, or our life is so sinful, in this case we are talking about, Bhagavad Gita gives us the light, gives us a vision. Where should we head towards? What am I doing in life? A lot of times those moments come in our life when we actually question ourselves, what am I doing? Where am I heading towards? And that is the question which can be answered with Bhagavad Gita. So now, with so many questions and answers being done, Krishna is reached to the 18th chapter, giving Arjuna the final conclusion before fight. So this is a very important chapter. So we are on 18.61. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hrideshe Arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra yantraruddhani mayaya. Krishna says, Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wandering of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of material energy. So, Krishna is such a wonderful well-wisher friend that irrelevant of however number of lives we go away from him, he sits in our heart and guide us what we should do and what we shouldn't do. So there are two voices we all have. There is a there is a there is a there is an analogy around that we have a good dog and bad dog within us. What is that analogy represents? That the good dog, I'm not saying the Paramatma is a dog, but this is an analogy for us to understand. The good dog gives us the right direction, and bad dog takes us in the direction which is filled with suffering based on the activities we perform there. So, whichever dog you feed the most, that becomes a strong one. So, when we study Bhagavad Gita, when we come to temple, when we practice devotional service, when we honor prasad, when we perform different activities of devotional service, we actually try to feed the good dog, and that is the Paramatma's voice. So, a lot of times when you're about to do some activities, we all have experienced, there are two voices. One says you shouldn't do that, and second one says I should do that. So the problem is that we can't discriminate what is, we understand what is right for me and what is not right for me. It's not that a person who is just taking his first cigarette doesn't have a voice coming, you shouldn't have it. It just, he chooses not to hear that, but choose something which is the other voice, right? So that is the voice of a bad dog. So Krishna says, I am also present as a Paramatma in everyone's heart, whether it is an ant, whether it's a human, whether it's a bird, whether it's an animal, and directing all the living entities. Whether they want to follow or do not want to follow, that's a separate story. But these people talking about us, we are seated on a machine made of material energy. So our body is made of earth, water, fire, air, and ether, which is material energy. So when we die, the soul doesn't die, but the body dies. The material energy, whatever constitutes our material energy, material body, that so when we burn the body, earth, water, fire, air, ether goes back to where it is. Right? That's what it is. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion, like us. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized Supersoul, which is Paramatma, sits in the heart directing all of us. After we change our body, we forget our past. But Paramatma, or the Super Soul, He knows the past, present, even the future. He knows everything what is happening, what had happened, and what is going to happen. And He remains as a witness of all activities. One time, one teacher called all his students and he gave them fresh, nice mangoes. He told them, you should go and eat at the place where no one sees you. So he said, the journey starts now. So what had happened is, different students, someone hid in the cupboard, someone hid here, some hid there. So the time got over. So everyone had finished mango, but there was one kid who came His mango was still there. So his guru asked him, why you didn't eat the mango? He said, wherever I went, I saw sun is watching. I see the sky is watching, the earth is watching. Sorry, I'll switch on this light. So even if I don't want to I want to hide something, but Prakriti is watching, Paramatma is watching, right? So irrelevant of whatever activities we do, we may hide things, or we pseudo ourselves, or we proxy ourselves in a different role, but actually Krishna knows everything what is going on. Even while I'm speaking, while you are hearing, what is going within my heart, Krishna knows, right? So after the changing the body, we may forget the past, but super soul knows everything. Therefore all the activities of us are directed by the super soul. Well, one may say, is it, when I do wrong activities, is it all inspired by super soul? Not really, but it has to be sanctioned by the super soul. The living entity gets what he deserves and carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of super soul. This is the answer. What happens? We get what we deserve based on our activities. We perform certain karma. There are reactions, good or bad, pious or impious, based on which we suffer, and we get a certain kind of body. We get a certain kind of, you see, some people are born rich. Some people are born, not just born, they remain healthy for their entire life. But some people, when the day they are born, they are suffering with diseases. So, how is that? It's nothing. This is not the mistake in creation. Like sometimes you buy a product which is faulty, right? So, we say it's a manufacturing fault. But in Krishna's creation, material energy is never create a faulty product. But based on our activity in our previous life, we acquire a certain kind of body, we acquire certain kind of nature, we acquire certain kind of things in this material world, right? As soon as the living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of bodily situation. One time, Lord Indra performed some activities because of which he got cursed. He got cursed to become a pig. So imagine a king of heavens. Now the type of food he is having, or type of luxuries he is having in heavenly planet, we can't even dream about it. So he comes in the material world, take the birth of a pig. He has a family, he has a wife, he has a kid. So he's enjoying life. Oh, my life is going great. Like we think about everything is going great, 2024 is about over, 2025 waiting for something good to, it's going good, we are thinking that it's going to be better in 2025. So by the time, there was nobody ruling in the heavenly planet. So Brahmaji came. Oh, this is a chaos. We want we want Indraji back. So he came. He knew where Indraji is. So he came because he is the creator, right? Under the guidance of Lord Vishnu. So he came, told Indra, please come. You have a position now. I've taken care of your curse. You come back. He said, no, I'm great here. I don't want to come in heaven. This is heavens. This is such a great place. You see the sewage I'm lying in? This is nectar. You see what am I eating? This is the best tool one can imagine about. So that is what Indra was enjoying. Because based on the body we acquire, we have tendencies based on that. For an example, for a man, imagine a cockroach, Miss Universe cockroach come. Will we get attracted? No, irrelevant of whatever personality we are, because our tastes are based on our body. We won't eat something which dogs eat. We will eat something which human eat, ideally, right? So our tendencies, our activities are based on the type of body we receive. A person seated in a high speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car. Easy thing, right? So who is that? Because now I'm sitting in a faster car, I'm doing things faster. Though the living entities, the drivers may be the same. Beautiful analogy, right? Now when, like for an example, when I grew up, i had a I had a bicycle. Now however effort I would put, what will be the speed? Maybe 20 miles, not even 20, maybe 10 miles an hour. So same person is driving, but now because of the vehicle, now the speed is different. The driver is the same. So the body, based on the body, the activities are performed. Same activity a human can do, a dog may not be able to do that. Or a fish who can live under the water, I cannot live under the water, right? So based on the body it's given, right? Similarly, by the order of supreme soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity, so that we may work according to our past desires. Everything is a product of our desires. Whatever we are desiring, our body, every activity around us is being formed. That's why one should purify their desire. When we purify our desire and put a desire in such a way not to bring us to the bodily concept of life, then we will evolve. We will become like a butterfly from a caterpillar. But our situation right now is we don't want to transform. We are comfortable in our comfort zone. But unless a caterpillar goes through the difficult journey of transforming his body to a butterfly, that caterpillar can never become a butterfly. Which means the idea is we have to get out of our comfort zone to come to a stretch zone so that we can become a beautiful butterfly. That is the principle. The living entity is not independent. We are thinking I'm independent. I can choose which college I want to go to. I can choose which job I want. I can choose which house I want. I can choose which car I want. I can choose what wife or husband I want. Unfortunately, that's a misunderstanding. We have no independence. When COVID happened, everyone realized, whoever saying, oh, nothing going to happen to me, I'll go out, nothing happens, they catch, right? So nothing is under our control. We are not independent, we are dependent on nature provided by Krishna. One should not think himself independent of the supreme personality of Godhead. So tendency is there. This guy, the manufacturer of the Titanic ship, he said the Titanic ship is so big and wide and so powerful, even God cannot sink. He actually wrote that. Even God cannot sink this ship. In its first voyage, it sunk. Right? So, this is the unfortunate thing, that we feel that, oh, I'm independent. I have nothing to do with God. I can do whatever I want. Right? I'm so powerful. But that's the unfortunate situation. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, our duty is to surrender. This surrender is very different from the surrender when the catches us when we drive at the higher speed. That's a forced surrender. But when we surrender to Krishna, we don't lose our identity. We get empowered to perform much more higher activities, right? And that is the injunction of the next verse. Any questions or comments before we move to the next one? Yeah, good, Prabhu. We will read 62. Tam eva sharanam gaccha sarvabhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapyasi shashvatam. Krishna says, O son of Bharat, O sign of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. Now, the Mayavadi people, or people who do not understand devotional service, when say surrender unto him, surrender into that light. No, here Krishna is being humbly saying that surrender unto him, which means surrender to Krishna here utterly. And by Krishna's grace, one will attain transcendental peace and supreme and eternal abode. What is the difference between the place we are living in Vankutha? Vankutha, there is no scarcity. Vankutha, there is no need of sun and moon. Why we need sun and moon? Because there is so much of darkness here. But in spiritual world, or in Vankutha, the world we live in is called as Kuntha. Vankutha, everyone's body is so effulgent that they behave like sun. So we don't need the sun and moon. And then that's an eternal abode. We don't have to die. We don't have to get old. We don't have to take birth again. We don't have to work 9 to 5. We don't have to struggle for education. We don't have to struggle for H1B, B1, and then green card and all that stuff, because that's an eternal abode. We are never kicked out of that. Right? So Prabhupada mentions in the purport that we should therefore surrender unto Krishna, who is there in everyone's heart as Paramatma. And that will relieve us from all kind of miseries of this material existence. Yesterday, there was little better weather. Today, it's becoming cold. When it snows, then we know how driving is difficult, and so many inconvenience we go through. Sometimes the health doesn't support. Sometimes the boss doesn't support. Sometimes financial needs doesn't support. So many challenges we go through. But when we surrender to Krishna, we are relieved from all of them. And by such surrender, not only one be released from all miseries in the life, but at the end, we will reach the Supreme God. When Sant Tukaram, he is actually one of the very big saint in Maharashtra. So he was actually worshipping Lord Chaitanya, right, in Pandharpur. So his devotion was so highly praised by everyone, but there were some Brahmanas who were actually jealous of him. So what they did is they somehow he used to write abhangas. Abhanga means poetry, very powerful poetry. He was a composer. So they made him throw all his poetry or all his abhangas in water in a flowing river. And inconceivably, by large mercy, there are two versions of it. One version of that is all the villagers actually by hearted all those abhangas and they started singing. That's another version of it. And second version of that is when he threw the book, it actually emerged from the water and came back. So that was his power. So when he was leaving the in the same body, for us to die, whether we go to heavens or hell or whether we go to spiritual world, we have to leave this body, because this is temporary, right? This is asat. You cannot carry asat to the sat platform. Sant Tukaram went in the same body. There is a flower plane came from the Vankuta to came to pick him up. And his wife was there. He said, come with me, come with me. You're my wife, you can come with me to the spiritual world. She said, I have to feed buffaloes. I don't want to come. That's our situation. We are so caught up into these minor activities. One time Prabhupada wrote a book. What is that book? To other Journey to Other Planets. That's the name of the book. And then one person saw that book and he asked, so by this book, if I read that book and if I follow, I can go to other planets. Prabhupada said yes. But can I come back? He asked. Right? So that's our situation. That even if you want, oh no, I want to stay here, I want to come back. Right? That's the situation. Prabhupada started laughing. Transcendental world or Krishna's abode in Vedic literature, as mentioned as Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. Since all creation Since all of the creation is kingdom of God, everything material is also actually spiritual. But Paramam Padam specially refers to eternal abode, which is called as spiritual sky or Vankuta. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it was stated, Sarvisya Chaham Hridisanya Vishta. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So, this recommendation that one should surrender unto super soul sitting within means that one should surrender unto Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjuna as the Supreme. He has accepted in the 10th canto as Param Brahma Param Dhama. Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Supreme Abode of all living entities. One may say, if Paramatma is there within my heart, then why do I have to come to the temple? It is like you have a girlfriend or you have a boyfriend or you whatever husband and wife, whatever relationship you have, and then you get the photo also, and then they say, oh, okay, you can talk to me by photo. Will you like? No, you need a personal talk. You need someone to reciprocate. You want some reciprocation, that I speak and that person also speak. That's why we need Bhagwan. That's why we come to temple. Now one may say, oh, I speak to Krishna, but Krishna doesn't speak. Well, he does, but our eyes and our ears cannot understand what Krishna is speaking. He manifests everything in our life. Like in my personal life itself, so many times I may see Krishna is not talking to me, but my life has been orchestrated in such a way I realize Krishna's presence in every aspect of our life. Same way, you all also experience that Krishna is manifesting different plans for our betterment, right? So that's what it is being mentioned in this verse. Any questions or comments? You're good, bro. Okay. Let's read 63. Iti te jnanamakyatam guyad guyataram maya vrimrasya asesena yathechasi tatha kuru. Krishna says, thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Very beautiful aspect of it. A real quality of a leader. How this is, we are getting into leadership model. In leadership, we don't force things. A right leader is a person who empower the other person and give him a freedom to now execute. There are two ways of leadership, right? One way of leadership is, you know, telling and also showing, and at the same time, coming and then showcasing, oh, this is how it, and continue, are you doing it correctly, are you doing correctly. But the better leadership is that you empower a person in such a way so that he can make his own decisions. Like sometime, like I have my son who is learning harmonium, and his teacher is, I won't teach you any tunes, but I will train you in such a way that you can make your own tunes. This is called as leadership, which is empowering. So here Krishna said, I gave you all the knowledge. Now ultimately you decide what you want to do. This is a beautiful aspect of our life, that Krishna has given us free will. What is free will means? Definitely it is free, that we choose what we want. Now it could be a problem for us how we take it. Like I was just giving a class on Sunday. Choices, are they blessings or a curse? Because when we are given a choice, there is a tendency I may make a mistake and I choose a wrong path, or I may go on the right path. Like for an example, um, I have a choice. I can go to medical and I can go to, say, engineering, and I chose engineering. And when I go to engineering, I realize, oh, this is not the field I want to. So you realize, I wish I would have made that choice. So because I have a power of, I have choices, I can use my free will to go in this and that direction. But ultimately, that's our freedom to choose. Love is not by force. Love is always by choice, which means I want to give whatever my lover wants. If Krishna, we are actually Krishna, we are representing Jiva who wants to love Krishna. And what we want is, we want to use our freedom. Krishna gives us freedom. You come by your own choice. I'll give you everything you need, but I want to actually walk. That's why there is a saying, if you walk one step, Krishna will walk 100 steps. What does that mean? I choose my free will to go towards Krishna. Now Krishna is reciprocating. But a lot of times our problem is that we don't want to take that first step, and that's why the reciprocation doesn't happen. In purport, Prabhupada writes, it's a beautiful purport. Lord has already explained to Arjuna the knowledge of Brahma Bhuta. One who is in Brahma Bhuta condition is joyful. He never laments, nor does he desire anything. That is due to confidence and knowledge. Like for an example, a person who has done a PhD on a particular subject, he knows in and out about that subject. So this is the PhD of spiritual knowledge, the Brahma Bhuta platform. Then in that position, he has gained all the knowledge, so he doesn't lament for anything, doesn't desire anything. And Krishna also discloses knowledge of the super soul, Brahman, Paramatma, and superior, but it is superior. Here the word yathechasi tatha kuru, as you like you may act, indicate that God does not interfere with little independence of the living entity. We were just talking about. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has explained in all respects how one can elevate his living condition. The best advice imparted to Arjuna is to surrender unto the super soul seated within the heart, which is Krishna. By right discrimination, one should agree to act according to the order of super soul. That will help one become situated constantly in Krishna consciousness. What is Krishna consciousness? How can we, moment to moment, what choices are making, that is deciding whether I'm Krishna conscious or whether I'm not Krishna conscious. So our life is filled with choices. Some are favorable for Krishna consciousness and some are unfavorable for Krishna consciousness. We have to understand that, discriminate what is favorable and what is not favorable, and perform which is favorable, right? That is why Krishna here is telling to Arjuna, Yathe chasi tatha kuru, as you like you may act. I give you all the knowledge, now you use knowledge like a weapon. Knowledge is like a light coming from the sun. When there is darkness, you put the light in that room. The light takes over, right? The andhakar, the illusion goes away, the ignorance goes away. So the point of this acquiring knowledge is that it should transform our life. It should make us a better person who is taking us, which is, and every choice we make is should be taking closer to Krishna. Okay, it's 64. Sarvaguyatma bhu Sarvaguyatamam bhuya Shunu me paramam vachaha Ishtosi me dridam iti Tato vakshyami te hitam. Now, amazing. This is a friendly talk between Krishna and Arjuna. Of course, the whole Bhagavad Gita, but now it's getting little more friendly. Because you are my very dear friend, I'm speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. Like we have a very good friend, and then we go with that friend, and then there are choices to make, and we say, oh, you know what? I feel this is right. I want to do this one. What does the friend say? Well, you may do it, but if you ask me, in my opinion, I think this is a better idea. Right? So, this is a similar conversation going on, that Krishna is telling, why am I sharing this with you? Why am I sharing this with you? Because you are my dear friend. And I'm giving you a secret formula, the most confidential knowledge of all. And hear this from me, for it is for your benefit. This is going to be for your benefit. That's why you should hear. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Lord has given Arjuna knowledge that is confidential, knowledge of Brahman, and still more confidential knowledge of super soul within everyone's heart. And now he's even giving the most confidential knowledge of the knowledge. Just surrender unto Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is very important. What is the summum bonum of Bhagavad Gita? Like, for an example, what is the crux of a sandwich? The masala which is baked in inside the bread, not the bread. Bread is not the key thing, right? Bread is enhancing the taste, but the main thing is the what masala, what thing, what are the topping, and what are the inner things you are putting in that one, right? So Krishna is giving the formula, or Bhagavad Gita. If you combine, what is the crux of Bhagavad Gita is surrendering Krishna. So, what does surrender mean for us? It's a very difficult question, actually. If you see, what should I do to actually surrender to Krishna? Am I surrendered? Well, some people say I am, but they still do their own choices, right? Surrendered means whatever you decide, I will do that without any reservation. Whatever Krishna you want, I will make that happen, right? Like Prabhupada, when he came in a cargo ship, when he came to the Boston harbor first time, he said, I don't know why Krishna you brought me here. You may have some purpose to serve here. However way you want me to dance, I will dance. This is the purpose of surrender. This is the meaning of surrender. It does not mean that we should not have a free will, but the free will also should be used for growing in Krishna consciousness, not going away from Krishna. So when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually came, because when Krishna said Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja, you just surrender into me. Leave all variety of religion, which means all those misconceptions, all those conceptions, you have just leave it and surrender unto me. Everyone misunderstood. A lot of people misunderstood. They took Bhagavad Gita's instruction in different direction. That's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give the same knowledge, but rather than just speaking about the philosophy, he acted that philosophy. He became a devotee and showcased this is how you do. This is how you do. Like a lot of times, as a parent, when you want to teach the kids, you may speak 10 instructions, they may not follow. But if you do it yourself, then kids feel my father is doing, my mother is doing, I want to do that. That's the thing. So in the ninth chapter, Krishna said, Manmana, just always think of me. Just always think of me. This is beautiful. Prabhupada, one time, this is I think Los Angeles. So they were walking, Prabhupada and his disciples were walking on a seashore, and there was a beautiful sunset. So all the devotees were watching the beautiful sunset, and they were telling Prabhupada, Prabhupada, isn't this sunset so beautiful? What did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said, imagine if Krishna's creation is so beautiful, how beautiful Krishna would be. Seeing whatever material thing Prabhupada would see, he will transform that into spiritual life. This is the vision. This is the meaning of Man Mana Bhava Mad Bhakto. How can you always think of me? How can you always think of me? One time, Prabhupada asked, there was a green grass and there was a brown grass. Prabhupada asked, why this grass is brown? His devotee. Now, the different answers this devotee gave. Prabhupada wasn't satisfied. Prabhupada said, because this green grass is connected to earth, so he is getting nourishment, and that's why it's growing. The brown grass is disconnected from earth. That's why there is no nourishment that brown grass is drawing. That's why it is brown. Same way, when we are always connected to Krishna, our life is green. We are getting nourishment from Krishna. But when we disconnect ourselves from the earth, we lose that nourishment. That's why our existence is like brown. Everything Prabhupada would connect. This is the meaning of Man Mana Bhavamad Bhakto. Always think of me. Always think of me. This is the beauty. When Prabhupada was, after he established many temples, he came to New York and he was on some 100th floor. They just purchased the whole building actually. So he was on 100th floor, very beautiful skyscraper building. And then the disciples asked, Prabhupada, are you happy? Do you like this? What do you think about this 100th floor building? And then we are on this room. Prabhupada said, this is like my office, but my home is still in that small Radha Damodar Mandir in Vrindavan. We just went to Vrindavan. I just came back and was there in Radha Damodar Mandir, very small, 8 by 8. Like you can see this much. That's it. This is those small room. In that room there is a kitchen also, and everything else just this room. This is Prabhupada. He said, that's my home. Everything, when we connect to Krishna, when we connect all our existence to Krishna, that is the meaning of always thinking of me. And that's what is being stressed here. What is being stressed here? How can we change our thought process? How can we dovetail our propensity serving Krishna? There is this, I was just hearing Prabhupada's memories. So there is this beautiful devotee. Her name is Jadurani Mataji. So she went to the college. She was a painter. So she had an inclination about painting. So she studied in painting also. So somehow she came to Krishna consciousness, and then when she met Prabhupada for first time, Prabhupada said, so what is your skill? She said, Prabhupada, I can paint. Beautiful. So Prabhupada asked her to paint different pictures. So whatever books we have now, the pictures that she's the one who actually painted. Prabhupada guided and she painted. So first pictures which were created, and we still use those pictures, were done by her, and Prabhupada trained her. saying that how to use that. So one time there was this painting she made, and this is a beautiful story there. So when she made the painting, there was Krishna and there was Srimati Radharani, and she was holding a flower garland, but on the other side of Krishna. So she was not holding the garland towards Krishna, and then she was holding the garland. So Prabhupada said, "So what does this picture mean? Does that Srimati Radharani has another boyfriend and she's taking the garland towards him?" So she got little this thing. Prabhupada said, "No, let me correct it. Srimati Radharani is taking the garland from Krishna and handing over to you because you did a wonderful service." This is the vision of a pure devotee. This is the vision we want to actually follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and always remember Krishna. Prabhupada one time was walking in near Juhu after this temple was stood up, and he went in one area. It was like completely deserted area. Not there was nothing there. Prabhupada showed the stick. There should be a temple here. He said, deserted area. Nobody thought what is going to happen. In few years, now that is considered to be the richest area of Mumbai, and there is Radha Gopinath Mandir there. This is a vision of pure devotee. What is the vision of pure devotee? When that person is thinking about Krishna all the time, whatever that person says, Krishna manifests that. Because now Krishna, when Krishna, what does Krishna say? There is this saying, right? If two mere, if okay, one second, there is a Hindi line. One, let me just think. अ- अगर तू मेरे नाम में तो मैं तेरे काम में, अगर तू अपने काम में तो मैं अपने धाम में. What I'll translate it. If you remember me in the holy name, I will make sure I'll cover everything for you. But you don't have any business to me, that's okay. You carry on whatever you're doing, I'll live in my dham, that or in my abode, right? So we have to always remember Krishna, and that's how Krishna remembers. Another story. I like telling stories. There was this Brahmana. It's a real story. So in Gujarat, there is a river called as Narmada. This Brahmana was a very poor Brahmana. Didn't have much. He was just begging and surviving. One day, he felt like, I want to make a nice kheer for the Lord. Now, forget about the kheer. He did not have a food to actually eat. So in the mind, he thought, I'm going to make the kheer in my mind. So he went to the market. Everything is happening in the dream. Got the golden vessels. Got the chula for which the wooden fire to actually fire lit the fire. Got the best kheer, or the milk. Got cardamom, different ingredients, kesar, the best kesar. He got it from the market. Lit the fire. Put the rice, put the this thing, put the kasturi, put the this thing, saffron, and then started boiling, because the kheer has to be made not just the boil of CT and then not like that. It has to be slowly. And then he got a golden vessel, katori and spoon. He put that kheer in that one, and now he wanted to offer to the Lord. Everything is happening in the dream, by the way. But before offering the Lord, he wanted to see that the kheer shouldn't be very hot because it will burn the tongue of the Lord. That's the mood. So he put his finger in the kheer, and his finger got burned. His meditation broke, and he saw his finger was burned. And during whatever is happening, this is happening in the earthly planet. In Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu is laughing, and Lakshmi ji is asking, "My Lord, why are you laughing?" He says, "You see this Brahmana? He have a zero position. He has nothing in his hand, but he wanted to offer me kheer. He offered the kheer, and he got his finger burned. I want him right away." So he sent his Vishnu Dutas and bring him to his spiritual abode. Lord is so eager to see the devotees who are thinking about Man Mana Bhava Man Bhakto. Just always think of me. This is the beauty. We have to come to that platform. Every activity we perform, whatever we are doing in our life, how can I remember Krishna? How can I always think of him? Not an easy task. But we have to educate ourselves. We have to hammer our brain that I want to try to remember Krishna every moment. This is the beauty. Ultimately, that is the substance we want to reach to. If we don't understand this purpose, then we will not go towards Krishna. This is the most important instruction in all Vedic literature. What Krishna is saying in this connection is the most essential part of knowledge, and it should be carried out not only by Arjuna. Arjuna is living with Krishna. He doesn't need any of this information, but this is needed for us. With that, we will read text 65. That's the verse which is coming now. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam avasyasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Now, a cream on the top. What is Krishna saying? Always think of me. What do you do? Always thinking of me? Become my devotee. Apply that, not just thinking about it. And worship me. Offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. This is not only spoken to Arjuna, but this is an open invitation for all of us. What we have to do, always think of Krishna, becoming a devotee of Krishna, worshipping Krishna, and offering all of our existence to Krishna. And that way we will never fail. Krishna will make sure he takes it. Krishna says in previous chapter, I forgot the verse number, but Krishna says that whatever you lack I provide, and whatever you have I will preserve. Imagine what kind of boss, what kind of person he is, so magnanimous. He's willing to offer everything, whatever we don't have, and on top of it, whatever good thing we have, he can take care of that piece. So, this is a very important word. So, we are going to read the purport here. Excuse me. The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna. What is the meaning of pure devotee? When a when an iron is put in fire, iron is still iron, but it behaves like a fire. If you touch the iron in fire, it's like a fire, right? So a person who is always thinking about Krishna and always thinking about that, he doesn't become Krishna, but he imbibes the quality of fire, very similar of Krishna, and that's how he becomes pure devotee. Always think of me and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Oh, there are a lot of people. Oh, can you chant? Oh, I chant 24 by 7. One time there was one person. This is a real story, by the way. So, the speaker who was giving the class, he spoke Bhagavad Gita and he said, you should chant. So this person said, oh, I always remember Krishna. I always chant his name. So he said, but you chant on the beats. No, no, I always chant. I don't need the beats. Okay, you do me a favor. You take this counter, you don't touch the beat, you take the counter. So what you do is on the counter, however number of times you just chant, you just press the button. He said, yeah, that's good, I will do that. After 1 week, this guy was like first coming in the class like that, and next week when he came, and the preacher told him, just tell me the number. So this next time, after a week, the program happened and this guy came and he was coming like that. So the preacher asked him, so how are you? How many rounds did you chant? He said, I counted. It should be 108. That's one mala, which means if you chant 16, he said, I didn't even chant 30 names of Krishna or 20 names. I realized I was a procrastinator, or I was just saying that, oh, I chant 24 by 7. That's the thing. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. That is the real life. One day we will realize the importance of Krishna consciousness, But why do we waste time? There are three classes of learning, or four classes of learning, however way we want to put it. The first class of the fourth class of, let me start with different thing, right? So the first class of learner is that I heard and I followed. Oh, this world is a problematic place. This is world not a place to stay. Let me go back to Krishna. How do I do that? So hear and follow. The second kind of person is that I heard, but I want to see people. That is second class of learning. I want to see if other people are suffering. I go to hospital. I go to Shamshan Bhumi. I go to that crematorium place. Oh yeah, this place is miserable. I will not do that. So that's the second class of learning. Third class of learning is what? I heard, I saw, I want to experience. Right? I want to see it. I want to experience it myself, that this world is a Dukhalem Shashwatam, full with miseries. That's the third class of learning. Most of us fall into that bucket. Or at least I belong to the fourth category. I heard, I saw, I experienced. In spite of that, I do keep doing the same thing again and again. This is the fourth class of learning. Ultimately, we are supposed to come to at least the platform of second, which is at least heard and saw. I want to follow. Right? One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot or she cannot but think of Krishna. And Lord's promises that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is a dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend of Krishna. Very important point. And obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. Not that, oh, he was the friend, so he get the premium ticket. No, everyone gets it because we want to follow. The word stresses that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. I want to end with the story. Krishna was playing hide and seek with his friends, Gopas, and Krishna hid. So whoever was playing that, they found Krishna within a minute. And Krishna said, yogis, they are going to Himalayas, they are searching for me, lifetime after lifetime, they can't attain me. You guys found me so fast, how is that? Krishna asked this question to his friend, and they said, Krishna, this is not a rainy season, and peacocks only dance in rainy season. So we saw those peacocks looking in a particular direction and dancing. Seeing your beautiful bluish complexion like a rain cloud, they were dancing. So we realized you must be there. See, that is the power of devotional service. You can conquer Krishna. Right? Same Krishna, when he killed Kamsa, after killing Kamsa and Chanur and Mustika, one of Krishna's Gopa friend came. So Krishna, did you kill these guys? Krishna said, yeah. What do you think? They started laughing. Hey, I defeated you all the time. I was, because they used to play the game. Whoever is the defeating party, they have to carry the winning party on their shoulder. He said, all the games you were being defeated and you were carrying me. So you again started laughing. You killed him. And Krishna, trust me, I did it. Okay, come for a fight. Krishna got defeated by this guy. See, I told you, you can't do anything. How can you do that? One time, I'll end with another story here. One time, Yashoda Maya, Krishna was very small. Yashoda Maya was making Krishna to sleep. She was telling the story and Krishna was sleeping. And in the middle of the sleep, he woke up. Give me my bow and arrow. I will go and kill Ravan. Give me my bow and arrow. I will go and kill Ravan. Yashoda Maya asked, Kana, what are you saying? What are you speaking about? Yeah, I was Lord Ram in my previous life. Ravana took my mother Sita, I said. Mother Yashoda. So, who else were you there in the previous life? She started laughing, holding the stick. He said, I was also Narasimha. I protected Prahlad Maharaj. His father was giving him a lot of troubles. He threw him from the mountain. I was taking care of him. I appeared as Lord Nrsimhadev. Yashoda Bhaiya. Ah, like that. Huh? Who else were you there? He said, I saved Prithvi Devi. She was taken in the ocean. I saved her. Saved her. He said, you can't even cross the door yourself and you run away with my stick from stick and you are so fearful. You came as Nrsimhadev when you killed Ravana. You just shut up and sleep now. Don't make crack a joke here. That is devotional service. Krishna wants to be conquered by his devotees. That is the beautiful one. Right? One should fix his mind on the original form of Godhead, Krishna. One should not even divert his attention to the other forms of the Lord as multi-forms, Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Vara, etc. But the devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjuna. Beautiful flute holding Krishna, blue boy. There was another story. There was a kathakar, a class speaker. So earlier times, people used to actually sit in the evening and hear katha, Ram Katha, Mahabharat, Krishna Leela. So there was a kathaka. So there was a thief there. Earlier times, people will keep the door open. Nobody will just lock the door. They would come. So this thief thought, oh, this is a great moment. I can steal whatever I want. But then he thought, let me see what other people are doing. So he came to the arena where the class was being spoken. And he sat there. And then the class speaker started beautifully talking about the different parts of the body of Krishna. He said he has a bluish complexion. He holds the peacock. He has the peacock feather on his head. He has a flute, and he started talking about the jewelry Krishna wears. And our thief's eyes open because now what he is concerned about is I want this jewelry. So the whole katha he completely concentrated attention. He listened with what motto? I want to steal. So at the end of the day, what he was interested in is where is this boy? So he asked the question, where is this boy? He said that boy, bluish complexion, Krishna is in Vrindavan. So this thief knows where the Vrindavan is. He said, I want to go Vrindavan right away. If I do this thievery, I don't have to work for entire my life. Let me do this business. So he walks without even waiting or resting. He just reaches there and he's outside skirts of Vrindavan. And he sees few boys are playing. There was one boy who was with the bluish complexion. And he saw, oh, that kathakar or the speaker was defining the quality. I see he has such a beautiful bluish complexion holding the flute in his hand. He's so beautiful. He has a peacock feather on his head. He's wearing a yellow dhoti and he's wearing beautiful golden ornaments. He said, come here, boy. Krishna said, yeah, I want to play with you. Can you play with me? Krishna says, yeah. Can you remove that jewelry? We will play together. Krishna said, no. My mother will beat me. I don't want to do that. Please, I want to play with you. No, if you remove that, then only I'll play. Krishna said, no. My mother will beat me. But he wanted to play. And Krishna started playing. After they both were playing for a given period of time, Krishna said, I have to go. This thief, what did he come for? The jewelry. Krishna said, you wanted the jewelry, right? Take it. No, don't leave me, Krishna. I want to play with you. No, I have to go. My mother is waiting. This thief started crying and wailing. Krishna, I don't want to lose your association. I need you. I want you 24/7. Krishna is, no, I want to go, my mother. Krishna, please don't leave me. Don't leave me. Please, I want to be with you. He saw Krishna. But the speaker who gave the class couldn't see Krishna. Why? Because for a speaker, Manmana Bhava Mad Bhakto was not there. But for a thief, Though his mind was perturbed about and thinking about how to steal, but with that mindset, he was thinking about Krishna very attentively. And whole night, whole day was thinking about Krishna. This is the platform we want to get to, not that we want to become a thief. We want to bring Krishna in our life at every moment. Think about Krishna at every moment and apply this principle of man mana bhava mad bhakto madhya jiva namaskuru. With that, I would like to end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any questions or comments here? Any questions or comments? Prabhu, you have anything to add?
So
Beautiful.
much.
If there are no questions, thank you all for joining in. We will continue next week. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare
Thank you.